So this is what Voki looks like, and right before our little break, I was showing you over here, what they look like when you embed them on a web page. And what a lot of teachers do is you can have kids make their own Vokies to do like book reports and things like that. I did something one time where the kids had to make a Voki of a famous dead artist, and so the Voki had to look like that artist, and then they had to use their voice to, oh, hi, I'm Jasper Johns, and I'm famous for painting American flags. And, so it was really cool, and we played it one day at the beginning of class, and it was a great little project that they didn't have to write it. It was more oral, and so they were really into it. So you can do a lot of things with Vokies. I mean, just making animations is fun. So, and it's also, a lot of times when we're in the lab working on something that's maybe a longer project, off to the side of my website, I'll have like a whole list of 20 places they can go. Voki's a great place for them just to go play, and then, they kind of, it's a pretty intuitive website, so then they kind of have this idea of like how this works if you ever use it in the classroom, and it's, pretty regular. So anyway, it's really cool, and you can embed them on your blogs and all that, and it walks you through how to do everything. And then back on our directions, I think I even had, I didn't put anything there because Voki's really intuitive, so I didn't even worry about it. So that's Voki. The next thing I'm going to tell you about is Scratch. I hope you've heard of Scratch, but basically what Scratch is there were some students at MIT that thought that students in K-12 really didn't understand code, which is the language of the internet. And this is way before Day of Code and all this. Scratch has been around for about 4 years now. And so they realized that there were a lot of careers for people who understood code, good paying careers, and it was just nobody was getting hired because nobody understood code. So they made this little baby website called Scratch, and kids don't have to know code, but it teaches them that code is basically building blocks of language, and you build these blocks together certain ways. And so Scratch it's always scratch.mit.edu, and you have to download it. It's a free program, but it is such a small program that you can actually download it onto a USB drive that's like 2 gigs or less. So one of the things you can do is you can ask your tech person, will you load this onto all the computers in a lab? And if not, get a class set of USB drives and load them onto USB drives, and then just keep them. I have like a little class set of Panda USB drives, so there's very few Panda USBs around, so if one goes wandering off in the building, I know that one's mine. And I just have a little program on it, and they're able to use it. But this is what, they have a little video here that you can go watch, but this is what it is. They just drag little things over. So it says when the green flag is clicked, you're going to repeat this 10 times, and you're going to move 10 steps. So you're going to move 100 steps, So you're kind of telling the kids how to do things and how to build things. There are tremendous things you can do from this, from making a video to making a game. Basically anything you can code, you can do. And so people make like you can see how sophisticated this gets. I'm just going to click on one. I'm not sure like how, appropriate is. This one says, can you help our explorer find her way through the jungle? Yes, this seems G-rated. Just use the arrow keys or click on the mouse to move along the path to find all the things she needs. Oh, and the orange button shows the stuff she's already collected. So I'm going to click on the green flag. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Just use the mouse. Maybe I didn't click on this one. There we go. I'm lost. And so now I'm just using the buttons on my keyboard, and I'm able to move her around. And so I'm guessing probably somebody in high school coded this, and they made this whole thing. So it's very, very cool. And what I wanted to show you is a few things. There's some great tutorials on the basic things, like how do you make, they call your characters in Scratch a sprite. So how do you make your sprite move? Then there's also a free online Scratch course you can take that takes you through like the most basic to the most sophisticated things, and it's totally like self-guided, so if you don't have time for it, you can just take a time off. This is something I've given my students and they love, which is the Build a Pac-Man like game. When you tell kids you're going to make a video game, they're like, we're going to make Halo! Like, they don't really understand. You're like, no, we're going to make Pac-Man! Like, simmer down. So you have to start small, and you have to explain to them that, Halo was written by about 200 people. Pac-Man was probably written by one person. So we're shooting for one person. But the other cool thing to tell them is, like, this is how people who build apps, how they get started. The guy who made Flappy Bird, which is the app that they're all trying to play, like, on the DL in your class right now, that guy made, like, millions off of, like, a super simple little app that he just made one night in his house. So if you have these skills, there is money out there for you. And so here's another one. This is the tutorial I've used a lot in class, making a simple game. This one's really, really simple. And then I'm going to show you the very first thing I ever made on Scratch, which is sort of a hot mess. So, be gentle. So this one is the lion has to eat the apples, but if he eats like a zebra, I think he dies. I think that that's the deal. Or no, he has to eat, oh, I'm the zebra, but I have to avoid the lion. And I want to get the apples. But the problem is every time I eat an apple, I get bigger. So I'm running out of less space to evade the lion. I mean, and this, this is a pretty basic game. But the cool thing is, I was able to just pick these characters from a group that Scratch already had. But for my Savannah, I was able to go find a picture on the internet that I liked. So you can do both. You can go find pictures on the internet you like. You can use things that Scratch already has. And Scratch also lets you draw your own things. So I'm going to see if there's some more other things I've made. No. I made one for Cooper where I made it was based on the fish. Oh my God, I'm blanking on names because it's late. Who did the goldfish? Is it Monet? No. The goldfish in the jar, it's on the candle.
Matisse.
Yeah, thank you, Matisse. Thank you. I'm like, it's an M name. It's late. No, I did a little thing where it's Matisse's fish and they're flopping around in the bowl and then they're eating things so anyway, so that's kind of, I don't know where it is. But yeah, so you can do pretty sophisticated things or pretty simple things. And the tutorial I used to make this particular one would be this one right here, the Digital Art for All, making a simple game. And I have a bunch of packets that talk about how to make things in Scratch. So if Scratch is something you want to play with while you're here, it's such a small program, it might even let you download it without having administrator approval. If it's so many bytes or something, you can do that. So, but the kids love Scratch. They love it a lot.
Do the other programs require administrator approval?
Do what?
Do the other programs?
No, the rest of this, Scratch is the only thing so far you have to download. Everything else is just a website that you do everything on the website. Okay. Sorry, I should have clarified that. Yeah, Scratch is the only thing you have to download. So yeah, but Scratch is a ton of fun. The kids love it. So again, another great project to do at the end of the year. We're gonna make video games, Yes. So then the next thing that I like to do is GIF making. Do you guys know what GIFs are? Animated GIFs. So they use the bitmap color scale, so it's pretty limited. And most of the GIF masters are Tumblr people. Or they're on Tumblr, which is blocked here at Cobb. So look at it in your spare time, but I'm going to show you a few that aren't. There we go. And so yeah, so GIFs are just like these real simple little animations. So he's got like the hot dogs swirling in his eyes, and some of them are pretty subtle. This guy isn't really known for subtle, so I kind of totally love this one. Probably not the what WTF, probably shouldn't have that up here at school. But like things like this little fire that are just kind of like really special and beautiful, and this is a big thing. Kids, the way they're interacting with like Tumblr and websites like that, they're very GIF driven, and so kids really want to know how to make GIFs because they see people online make GIFs and they see that as something that like other people make but they can't. So I know when I'm like, we're gonna make GIFs, the kids are like, yes, they're very excited. So that's a fantastic GIF artist. And then another one is this person. And some people do some really beautiful, it's going to take me to her Tumblr. No, I don't want her Tumblr, I just want her website. There we go. So, I mean, they're just sort of simple, and a lot of them are kind of ridiculous, like what is even happening with this, like, I feel like that's something our kids would love, I know some kids who would be into that. I'm kind of going down slow because she can be a little bit racier. But you can see like the background here, things like that. So GIFs are a lot of fun. And I've made GIFs lots of different ways in class. So one of the easiest things to do is just to use a GIF generator. And so what you do is you just have maybe two pictures that you want to have looped together, and you just go somewhere on the website, on the internet, and it tells you how to do that. So I'm going to show you really quick. So this is my blog. And what I had the kids do is they took a paper clip and they had to make it so they took a picture of them holding the paper clip while the clothespin was shut, and then while the clothespin was opened. And then we loaded it into Pixlr, which we've talked about before. They had to pick a background, so I picked obviously this little field here. And then this was our inspiration, which was not animated. But this down here, it walks you through all the steps of, here's how we shot it on our construction paper green screen that was tacked up to the board. And so these are the exact steps my students followed to make these. they didn't use my blog, but yeah. And then I'll show you, I think I have them, I'll show you some of the ones that they made. Not sure if they're here. No, they are here. So these are all the animations that they made. So you can see, you know, you've got girls who made pretty sophisticated ones and ducks, and we have Nemo here. Some people, a little egg appearing, the shark eating a baby fish. This one down here I thought was particularly beautiful. When you open this up, it's a little frowny face. It's kind of hard to see there. And I love how she put a rib cage behind it. I thought that was really kind of fantastic. But then, you know, you've got people who are like, hey, I'm just happy I did the project. You know, like, lava! You know, I don't know how that's related to that creature, but... but yeah, so if you want to make a simple one, rather than my going through every single step right now, the easiest thing is just to go to that link I provided you on my blog, and you can go run right through that. More sophisticated ones are using GIMP. GIMP is a free downloadable program, so you'd have to download it. Similar to Photoshop, but it's free. And if you go to this link, it walks you right through how to make a GIMP animation, which is also, you save it as a GIF. And then Photoshop, you can make them in there too. The idea is that when if you know anything about Photoshop, and GIMP is the same way, you know how you have layers? Basically, what you're doing in Photoshop or in GIMP is you're telling the computer, I want each layer to be a frame in a movie, and I want you to loop it. And so that's what it does for you when you save it. So I'm going to show you, I've made a few of those myself. So I'm going to show you what those look like. Computer, you move so slow. So these are ones I've done for vocabulary words. So you've got cacophony, where I just have the squiggles moving around, and you've got my face moving back there, and then usurped, and the dude is kicking one king so he can be king. And so these were made using GIMP, and they can be, this one was pretty simple to make, this one was a little bit more sophisticated because I drew the characters and all that kind of stuff. So that's more like if you sort of master the GIF making and you kind of feel like you're really comfortable with photo editing and all that stuff, that's like the next place you would go. But so some of my kids do that and some of my kids don't do that. All right, and then the last thing I'm going to share with you are animation teaching masters, and I've got two for you. The first is Trisha Fugelstead, and she blogs over at Dryden Art, which is what her elementary school is entitled. And I hope you've seen her. Have you heard of Fugel Flicks before, or anything like that? Okay, well, this chick is like a master of teaching digital, and look, she has a permanent green screen in her classroom. This is like how serious she is about this. But she teaches elementary videography and filmmaking and animation, and she's really, really good at it. So if you're somebody who's elementary and you think it can't be done, she does it, and she does it in a way that makes sense, not in this like, okay, the kid's doing every little thing. She's like, no, let's get an app, let's do this app thing. You can see like all the endorsements she has down here. I mean, like this woman is insane. She's so awesome. But one of the things I think that's really smart that she's doing is instead of trying to get a grant for like 30 iPads for her classroom, she went after grants for 2 iPods here, 1 iPod there, and she's 2 iPads. She's 2 iPads away from having a class set now. And she's been kind of just chipping away at it for 2 years. And I'm like, oh, that's the slickest idea. So she really wants to get to that place, but you can just search her, you know, look at everything she has here. It's pretty amazing. If you're an elementary school teacher and you don't know about her, you just need to go fall into this vortex, and you'll have about 12 new lesson plans for the end of the night. The next one is Art of Apex. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know how you say his name. And this guy is sort of like cutting edge high school. I know that he's been on, his students' artwork has been on the cover of School Arts magazine, so he's pretty cool. And he teaches all sorts of art, so not just digital art, and the same thing with Trisha Fugelstead. But anyway, he is like, his kids do the most, oh, grade book. Let's like hope this goes away really quickly. No, just go away, don't be in my video. Okay, there we go, sorry. But he does pretty fantastic things, and it's just a matter of you just have to go up here to the top and like search for animation or things like that. But he collaborates with local elementary schools where they send them a drawing, and then his kids have to animate the kid's monster, and then they send it back to the elementary school kid. Like, check this out. This is what he's doing. This is the computer art class's first animation. Like, this is where his kids start. So this guy's a master. Yay, we've hit 15